Welcome back here to Wise Up TV, where today we are breaking down the Tonga squad for this upcoming Pacific Championships. And look, it's a pretty solid squad all around. We're going to break it down for you. But if you are here for the first time, please give us a like and a subscribe for all your Warriors content originally, but also your international content coming up with this month. Here on Wise Up TV, we will be covering everything from the Pacific Championships, including the England-Samoa tests in the UK. So hang around here for your international footy over the next month. Look, let's just get break into the squad. It's a great squad. We'll start specifically at the fullback and we'll work our way up. A lot of options there. You've got Kola, who played majority last year at fullback. You've got Hopoate and you've got Iongi, which is two young guys coming through. Hopoate had a great season. Iongi, I think he had a few opportunities at the Panthers. And I think he's been bouncing back and forth between the top team and the New South Wales Cup team. But Lehigh Hopoate looks a good player. He looks good on the wing. A lot of people have him at fullback. He could be a potential fullback starter. But I see Kola as the option here, although Kola looks good also as a centre option. But as you'll see with this squad, there's a plethora of options at their disposal, especially in the outside back. So either way you cut it, I think there's good options in all positions. But in this case, I'm probably going to stick with Kola because he has played there originally. He brings speed. He brings that dynamic play. Obviously, Turbo plays at the Seagulls for the majority, and Kola gets those opportunities when Turbo's injured. But I feel at the back with Tonga, I think he'll be really solid there. But you can see Hopoate and Iongi getting opportunity. On the right wing, you got Katoa, Sione Katoa from the Sharks. Obviously, he had a great season, still at his top level, played really well in the finals, I felt. But Hopoate's there as a second option, I believe, as well. So, pretty solid, but you probably say Katoa in that situation. On the left wing, you got Tupou, you got Hopoate. I'd probably say again, Iongi maybe a left wing option. There's a few options there for them, but you probably say they'll go with Tupou, Daniel Tupou, the veteran, the guy with he's been there, done that all through his career, finals, Origin footy, and in Tonga as well. So, but you could see Hopoate in that filling in if there was an injury there. In the right centre, I'm going with Alamotti. It's kind of a tricky one because you got two left centres technically with Suli and Alamotti, but I'd probably say Alamotti can probably move over to the right-hand side. I think he's quite versatile, Alamotti. A lot of speed, as we saw in that grand final. He's got a lot of ability. He'll be a great addition to this Tonga team. But I suppose you could push Suli there. You got options with Kola as well if you needed it. There's a lot of options there if they felt that they were really struggling. So I kind of think they will do pretty well. Left side, I'm going with Suli. I think that's the main guy on the left-hand side. I think he'll be damaging and balances out that power and speed game with Alamotti, which I think is going to go really, really well. Then in the halves, I think it's pretty simple. It's Lolo here at 5'8" and Isaiah Katoa at 7. I imagine that's kind of how they're going to set up. There isn't too much depth there in that position. So I think they'll be riding those two in the halves. But I suppose you could look down the list and see some guys to fill in as well. Maybe Iongi is an option. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure who else can play in the halves, but surely Christian Wolf has made some accommodations to get the best quality players he can to cover. But you're riding pretty much Lola here and Katoa. A big talk about the Fainu boy from the Tigers. I thought he should have got an opportunity. I think there's a few probably other Tongan players out there. I think there's one at the Rabbitohs as well that possibly could have played in the halves. Lolo here is the tried and true. It's one of Christian Wolf's favourites, I know, but I think if I'm a Tongan fan, I probably want to move into the future, especially preparing for a World Cup. Now, if Fainu was injured, fair enough, then you go Lolo here, but you want to look to the future and think that Fainu with Katoa or something like that would be your halves pairing moving forward into a World Cup. But it is what it is, and I'm sure Lolo here will do a good job. AFB, your captain, co-captain with Jason Taumalolo. Amazing player, especially for me as a Warriors fan. Always respected him, his professionalism, his game. He will be damaging, no doubt, in this Pacific Championships. And if you just check back to the Test series against England last year, it wasn't the greatest. The performance on the field wasn't strong. It's difficult for any team to go over to the UK and perform. especially at the end of a tough season. I think the Tongan boys being here at home, they'll be stronger. They'll have their support base behind them at Mount Smart and at Suncorp. No doubt there'll be massive Tongan support. So I think they'll feel very comfortable playing against the Kiwis and Kangaroos. And they've got a feeling, I'm sure, that they will want to beat them and feel confident with this team. And I think AFB leading that from the front. As you remember, he had contract issues with the Warriors. I think a lot of those distractions will be out of his game. He won't have that in the background. He'll be able to focus on his footy, and you should get the best out of AFB this season. Havili is your probably hooker. I would actually go to Luke, but I think Luke was probably used as an impact hooker. So Havili, they have used Havili traditionally. I mean, Havili's a bigger body, probably not a long minutes hooker, but he does give you that security of strength. But I do question whether that's the type you want in terms of with a more mobile pack, specifically the Kangaroos, that you probably want to try and compete with a bit faster. I'd push maybe Sonny Luke to the start, but you probably say they'll go with Havili, get good minutes out of him, and Sonny Luke will be that impact hooker off the bench. In your back row, I've got on your left-hand side, I've gone with, you got a few options, actually. Ali Katoa, it's a tricky one. Actually, let's go back to the right side. You got really strong right-sided back rowers. You got Ali Katoa, you got Olokoautu, you got Tuponuia, I think, who can play a bit of both. Kaufusi's played a little bit of majority right, but I'm sure he could play left. So. But for me, I'm probably going to stick the strongest guy who I think, which is for me Olokoautu. He's your more traditional right-sided your right-sided back rower. That's the strongest position. I think you put him there. I think you move Ali Katoa to the left-hand side. Even though Ali's been playing on the right outside Jerome Hughes, there's a lot of options for Ali. But I think Ali can be a bit more flexible, and I'd probably put him out to the left. But there's options there. I mean, look, Tuponuia can play in there. Siwa Wong might play in there. Kaufusi, the veteran, as well, can fill in, although he played a bit more front row in the last tour in the UK. But you're probably just thinking Kauatu first. If that's not the case, you go Katoa, Ali Katoa second for sure. And then Kaufusi or Tuponuia, Wong, those are your kind of your backup guys. But there's a lot of depth actually in that back row that could all do a job. And same for the left side. I'm probably going to, like I said, Katoa, there's options there. Now, in the lock position, you got your Taumalolo, you got your Koloa Matangi as well. Now, Koloa Matangi can play on an edge too, but I think in this current situation with the Tongan team, he's been playing more as a lock. I can see Koloa Matangi playing as that traditional lock, but Jason could be, he typically plays lock, but he's like a front row almost. I think you should probably push Jason into the front row, and we'll get into that to pair up with AFB to do like a double shift early, 20-25 minutes, and then bring Jason off. I think Jason's in that part of his career. He's on the back end. He's on the tail end. You want to protect his minutes. You want his impact, but you don't want him out there too long. So there's that to weigh up. I mean, but they got Paseka there as well, who I think would typically play a starting role, but in this situation, I'd use him as my backup, as my impact forward off the bench. Then off the bench you got heaps of options. There's a lot of players there that if you can get it right and get the balance right. I mean, it's such a powerful team, but you do want some athleticism. It just depends how you make it up. Now, for me, guys, this is my starting team. I've gone with Kuola at the back, Katoa on the right side, Alamoti, like I mentioned. I think he's flexible enough to go to the right. Suli and Tupou on their left-hand side. Suli bringing that power game. Alamoti a bit more speed with Katoa on their right-hand side. So you see a bit of dynamic play there, a little bit of a power on the left, a bit of a speed on the right. And then Lolo here and Katoa in your halves. And then at the front row, you got AFB, Taumalolo. I think that's a solid... I could see Paseka there as well, and maybe, Taumalolo going to the lock or Kuola Matangi going to the back row. But I think the future for the lock position for Tonga will be Kuola Matangi. I best get his reps going, get him in that role as a ball-playing 13, as a running 13 as well. Yeah, Kawatu and Katoa both right-sided, but I just got to have Ali Katoa on my team. He's grand finalist, and Kawatu's just been a beast when he's in that role as well. So, and then Saliva as well to start. But you could see Luke being that starter if he was a long minutes player. I don't think he's typically a long minutes player right at this stage. But Sonny Luke, if he's off the bench, will bring just enough impact. Paseka's that impact forward that you need. Fotuaika, I'm surprised he didn't make it. I wonder if he's injured. But if you had a front row of AFB, Fotuaika, and Paseka, that's 3 big bodies. That's plenty to get through a game. But Paseka is on my guy off the bench. And then, Kaufusi and Tuponuia, 2 back rows, but Kaufusi can fill in the middle a little bit. Tuponuia gives you a bit of flexibility. He can play, I think, both sides of the back row. Center at pinch, there's options there. So that's kind of my makeup, guys, of the starting team. Yongi and Hopware, a few of the debut players, I think they may not play in this series. They may get an opportunity, but they are good young guys. They'll get an opportunity. They'll put their hands up. They'll play for the country, for the honor, for the badge. So I'm looking forward to the series. Now, quickly on this Tongan team, can they win it? They can. They've got every right to. The quality's there. It's always been the issue with all the Pacific Island teams is getting the halves and spine working. If you can get those players moving and operating, then that's half the problem solved. Katoa, he's going to be the main man. He's got to move this team around the park, and hopefully their big men can get the roll on, but they need that swift movement, the execution out wide. Once they make that punch through the middle, they need to then move that ball out quickly. Kicking options, you got Katoa, you need a little bit more as well. Lola here doesn't have a long kicking game from memory, so this will be a very hard running team, athletic team, that will just, if they can be relentless, if they can stick to the 1%ers and defend and do all the little things right, I think they're in with a chance. I think with the depleted Kiwi squad, they can have a chance in Mount Smart. In front of it'll be 20,000 Tongans, it'll be 4,000 or 5,000 Kiwi fans. That fan base can bring these guys home. They can be the difference. Now can the halves and the spine and the mental side of the game, can they bring it all together? If they do, they're very strong to be able to win at least 1 or 2 games, maybe make the final, and you just never know. But winning a final Pacific Championships for Tonga will do absolute wonders for the game. So I wish them all the best from a Kiwis fan. I'm just looking forward to seeing them play. But guys, give us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment as well. Let me know what you think. Have I missed someone? Do you think I've overrated someone or underrated someone? Will Christian Wolf actually go with this lineup, or will he mix it up a bit more? We'll wait and see. But hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.